I'm Bob Rao. I'm your MC for the day and one of your sponsors with Rao Inc. And I just want to welcome everybody here for our first Shore Economic Development Talk event. It's no coincidence that our acronym SED Talks resembles TED Talks. I'm a huge fan of TED Talks. As a matter of fact, I've had all of my employees read a book called Talk Like TED. And we're going to have an exciting presentations today from an incredible panel of experts, and they're going to give you their exciting TED-style presentation. Just want to say today's event's an inspiration, and this isn't very TED-like, by the way, because I'm actually going to read this. Today's event is the inspiration of like-minded sponsors committed to improving the lives of our residents on the Eastern Shore by supporting business and development initiatives that contribute to the economic growth of the entire area. Our sponsors for the event are SVN Miller, Commercial Real Estate, KRM Development Corporation, and Rao Inc. Special thanks must go to Liz Connolly of Rao Inc. She has worked tirelessly on this and just done an incredible job. She's worked hand in hand with Bob Greenlee of SVN Miller and Kate Goodall-Gray of KRM Development. They have put in many, many hours making this come about. Today's speakers are going to cover a broad range of topics that have a meaningful impact on the economic growth on the shore. I'm going to introduce the speakers as they come up, but I'm incredibly pleased and proud to introduce our first speaker this morning, Maryland Secretary of Commerce, Mike Gill. Mike will offer perspectives on Maryland's economic growth and how Maryland's Eastern Shore will prosper from our statewide economic development initiatives. Mike?
Hey, Bob. Thanks, pal. Thank you. We call it just another day in commerce, Bob. Good morning, everyone. Hey, is everybody glad it's a weekend? Why not? So we can go eat oysters tomorrow down at St. Michael's. Got that on the agenda. Put a little plug in. You got any more tickets to sell? Hey, let's do this. Here's what we're going to do. I've gone over my presentation a couple times, Bob. I know I can get it down to under an hour and a half, so hang in there. I know I can. But we're going to go fast because it's a smart group of people. And as always, I got a lot of things on my mind that I want to share with you. And I just love being here. It's a great place to be. How can you, when you cross that bridge and you're on the shore, if you can't get excited right away, you might as well do a U-turn and don't come back because it's as good as it gets. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a brief video. Got to watch it once. Hold on one sec. Carol's about ready to hit the button. We're going to watch a brief video, and then I'm really going to talk about three things. I want to do a little bit of a quick reflection over the last 4 years, just some things that we've done, some things that we're in the middle of doing. What's the next 4 years look like? Then I want to talk a little bit about the Eastern Shore and opportunities, and some that we've already succeeded on, some that once again we're building upon. And then I want to wrap this thing up because I've got some things on my mind that I want to share with all of you. And some of those things I know we're going to connect the dots right back to all things economic development and all things being great. That's probably what it's going to do. We're going to try to connect it to ED and being great. So hang in there. We're going to watch this brief. Let me move this over a little bit. This is a pretty good video. And by the way, we got the greatest marketing team at Commerce. It's an unbelievable marketing team. They produced this video. It's brief, and it's pretty good. It's got a nice soundtrack. Let it rip. And as Kevin Plank always says up at Under Armour, and we're just getting started. That's the part that makes it so cool. I've said to somebody the other day that if you really try to figure out what's the secret sauce, everybody likes to talk about secret sauce. I talk all the time about passion and having the right attitude. So we'll just that's just a remark to get things started. Great assets. Let me reflect with you just for a couple minutes, because we could talk about a lot of things, but just reflect. 4 years ago, how many times was it said, Maryland, not exactly Disney World when it comes to being friendly to the customers. You're the customers. I said yesterday, I was down at the Eastern Rotary, and the comment I shared was that I came to this position never having spent a day in government in my life, not one day. I introduced the governor 4 years ago to dinner in Annapolis, and I said, think about this. Between the two of us, we haven't spent a day in government. And we compared notes, and we couldn't even get elected to student council. And now you got to put up with us as the governor and the secretary of commerce in that regard. But the thing that dawned on me that second day on the job was everybody's a customer. And if you're in private industry, most of you are, you have customers. And you hope you keep them all. And when they give you business, you say, thank you very much. And if you do a good enough job, they give you more business. We didn't exactly have that approach to business in Maryland. But when somebody says, Mike, I need your help, I say, you got it. My buddy Rich left. Where's Rich? Rich left. Rich came up to me. We got to figure out some working capital for businesses that are growing, but they've hit kind of a hole, they kind of hit the wall. So we got to get together and talk about, can we tweak some legislation for the upcoming session to maybe address that. But it's a simple thing, but it's important to somebody. So there's a lot of that. And these great assets, because that's what that video really is showing, great assets. Anibon Basu. How many of you have ever heard Anibon speak? The guy is unbelievable. You gotta listen, because it comes out the wit is just phew, and but Anibon, he chairs our Maryland Economic Development Commission. I said to him early on when I came into this opportunity, I said, Anibon, and looking at these unbelievable assets in Maryland, I got to think we got better assets in at least 40 of the states out there. Anibon goes, Mike, how about maybe just about all of them? But we were missing that little thing called attitude. It goes to show, you can have a whole lot of talent, but if you don't have the right culture to be able to move things forward, then that's all you got is talent that's playing at about 50% of its potential. And the thing that we've tried to do, not just in commerce, but spread it throughout the whole state. And it's really caught on. It's contagious. And that is create a culture of yes. Culture of yes. If a customer calls you up and says, hey, I got something I need your help on. Before they even tell you, you say, yes, you can count on me. And that's what we do. The thing that I love, and you're going to hear more about it, is the way that our team at Commerce is so connected to every single one of the 24 jurisdictions in the state. And there's a number of you here in the room that our team works with. I mean, we're like simpatico about everything that we try to do. But the culture of yes, here's why the culture of yes is something that if you don't have it in your enterprise today, make it a goal and don't wait till January, start tomorrow. It's so important because the culture of yes also helps you solve problems faster. You solve problems faster. If you approach a problem with a positive attitude, then you're going to get the work done. So the assets that we have in the state of Maryland, whether we're talking about agriculture, whether we're talking about manufacturing, whether we're talking about cyber, whether we're talking about life sciences, aerospace, healthcare, blah, 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 blah. One of the beauties about Maryland is our diversification is unbelievable. It's unbelievable in the diversification. And we've really across the board been growing the numbers. We have, the Gov talks a lot about it. We're proud of it. The fact that we keep adding jobs. We've added about 130,000 plus in the last 46 months, 45 months, something like that. And I really think we're just getting started in that regard. And I tell my team all the time, if a report comes out and says, oh, you lost 3,000 this month, or you gained 12,000, I say, who cares? Because tomorrow is the only day that really matters. I carry this coin around in my pocket. It was given to me by a Navy SEAL friend recently. And it says on it, the only easy day was yesterday. The only easy day was yesterday. But we had these great assets. And some of the things that we try to develop are purposely to help the various parts of the state where there's strengths, but they need more assistance, like more jobs for Marylanders. The people like Whalen and Miltech and some other enterprises have taken advantage of, and there's a lot more, so we haven't had it that long, but we're getting a lot of response to it. It's basically improving the incentives for businesses, in this case manufacturing. If you're in certain parts of the state, you get a little bit more than other places, but it's working. See, that's the other thing about programs. There is no such thing as a program that if I could just implement that one program, my life's going to change. Forget it. It's all the little stuff. It's little stuff. And you add up little stuff, and you end up with big solutions. But more jobs for Marylanders has made a difference. A number of you have applications in. Partnership for workforce quality, that matters. Workforce, if I ask you all to raise your hand who are in the, I'm not going to ask you, but if you said, hey, is workforce an issue? You'd all raise your hand. And we would need a 4-hour symposium, Bob, to even scratch the surface. But we're making progress in that regard. I'll share one more quick thing that I think has made a big difference across a lot of different, everywhere in the state. We created a Commerce Cabinet almost 3 years ago now. We met in December 3 years ago, Commerce Cabinet. The idea was bring those agencies together. I chair it. Bring the agencies together to touch customers the most. And if I gave you a quiz, you probably could tell me what they are. All things environment, all things planning, all things labor, license, and regulation, my buddy Kelly Schultz, all things housing, Ken Holt, all things transportation, Pete Ron, small business, Jimmy Ree, and commerce. We got together 3 years ago. I gave them a goodie bag. They opened up the goodie bag. There were 3 important items in there. There was an 8-ball, because I told them, a lot of tough decisions ahead. And when you have tough decisions, you need an 8-ball, because maybe the first answer isn't the right one. I gave them a magic wand, because I said, sometimes you're going to be faced with real tough ones, and you're going to need a magic wand. And then I gave them a copy of my favorite book, because it's the most motivational book about the possibilities and being resilient that's ever been written. The Little Engine That Could. It's as good as it gets, The Little Engine. And they got a copy about Disney. Because I said, who said state government's supposed to be a pain in the customer's backside? Why can't we be outstanding in customer service? So we made customer service, job creation, workforce our 3 big initiatives. We got 55,000 state employees that are being measured on how are we doing in terms of taking care of customers. We're up to almost 90% where the customers who've gone on a website or they made a phone call to get something done have said, you met my expectations. So we're turning the state of Maryland into a customer service department. And it's really working. It's less stressful. So the Commerce Cabinet is something that we've taken through a lot of different places. Eastern Shore, just a couple quick comments, because you got it all. You got it all. And I'm going to make some remarks about that as well, relative to attitude, opportunity, what's next, things of that nature. Tourism, you know the tourism story. If you have something that you're good at, and the Eastern Shore is great at it, you just keep hammering away. Make it better and better and better. Liz Fitzsimmons heads up our tourism group. She works with a number of you out here. And you've got a lot of great assets, besides all the things associated with seafood. You know, November 9 to 11, I told the gang in Easton yesterday, I'm praying for great weather the 9th through the 11th. So the Waterfowl Festival is a rock and rolling event. How cool was it down in Salisbury a couple weeks ago? Did anybody get by the National Folk Festival? I mean, that was a big deal. Jake Day's a great leader down there. And they went into it with high expectations. It exceeded them in terms of the National Folk Festival. So we're going to continue to pound away at all these various things. The Rise Zones. You don't know what the Rise Zones are, but they're cool. We just created a Rise Zone adjacent to Salisbury University. And the idea is those enterprises that want to move into a Rise Zone in an area where the university is, they get some additional incentives to be there, because it helps to create an ecosystem all around there. So these kind of things are happening all over the state for opportunities for us. And of course, we've had some good successes. Sherwin-Williams has been adding jobs, and Delaware Elevator has been adding jobs, and Dixon Valve, and many, many others. Next week, I'm going to go see are any of the Blanfords here? I'm going to go see the Blanfords at Miltech. Maybe partially because they're Clemson fans, and I'm a Clemson guy, so I'll go see the gang over there. Let's do this. I want to move, if I can, Carol. We're going to go towards the. We're doing pretty good. Bobby, I'm gonna actually almost be really close. I promise. Again, I want to try to tie some things together for you. It's just it's stuff that's on my mind all the time. Because I think the opportunity to be great is within all of us. It just is. Sometimes there's just something blocking us from being as good as we can be. Because as a state of Maryland, when I used the Anibon thing, I said, Anibon, with these great assets, can you imagine when we really get our act together in the state of Maryland? And we're getting a lot closer to being there. And the only political thing that I've been allowed to say, and actually I wasn't not even allowed to say this, is hopefully November 6th, the right outcome will occur, as it should, and we'll keep on rolling for the next 4 years. And we'll turn this, matter of fact, I was at something not too long ago, and I said, somebody was talking about Virginia, and I said, please, who cares about Virginia? This is Maryland. This is where it's happening. Here's what I want to wrap up there with. Just some thoughts. Whoop. Formula for greatness. Formula for greatness. Build on strengths. I made that comment a few minutes ago, build on strengths. If we have strengths in manufacturing, Cambridge has a number of cool manufacturers, and a little bit of an ecosystem builds up if you get a concentration of companies in a certain sector. So, just as an example, let's build on it if that's a strength. If tourism is something that we're really good at, let's keep figuring it out. Do more of it. If there's an opportunity to accelerate on ag business, let's figure it out and accelerate, but build on your strengths. I said to a friend earlier, I don't really care whether or not, if I'm in Dorchester County, I don't really care if there's a whole bunch of life science companies off of 270 in Montgomery County. Why should I care? I want to care about what I'm doing and what I can do better. But we all make this mistake because we have a tendency to get distracted and we think about what others have that we don't have. Oh, I got it. It's the team. I came into this opportunity 4 years ago. I stood in front of a group at MEDA, the Maryland Economic Development Association. I looked out at them and I thought, these are all economic development folks from all the counties. I said, you're our sales team for commerce. And then we started saying economic development is a team sport. And if there's one thing, when the day's done, it's like, Mike, did you get anything done in that first 4 years? I'd say, yeah. We turned economic development into a team sport. And by doing that, we took resources, leveraged the heck out of them, and we're 10 times better than we might have been if we had been fragmented trying to get it done. So it's always about the team. Always. You can't be great if it's not a team environment. And the other thing I've said about teams is you need, in your jurisdiction, in your county, think about that figurative table that sits in the middle of the room and who's at that table when it comes to all things economic development. Is it the county commissioner? Is it the head of the chamber? Is it commerce? Is it the county economic development person? Is it the president of the local community college? Because if you don't have all the right people at the table and they're not on the same page, then your ability to get stuff done is very limited. I see it all the time in some of the jurisdictions. They already have challenges, and then they can't make the decision about anything. So there's one thing I'm trying to push is a little bit more of working as a team and taking advantage of opportunities. What's your vision? It's pretty basic, isn't it? But guess what? A lot of people wake up in the morning, they don't have a vision. They can't describe to you what you want it to look like. The magic wand. Okay, I'm Wycomico. Here, what's my vision? I know what I got today, but if I could be the magic wand, say, abracadabra, what do I want to look like 10 years from now? And then put all your energy into getting there. Don't get distracted. Focus. Oh, this is a biggie. We're all guilty. It's hard. It's really hard. Control your destiny, no excuses. Control your destiny, no excuses. Control your destiny. If you wake up every day and that's part of who you are, I promise you, you will live a very healthy life. I call it the difference between healthy paranoia and unhealthy paranoia. Unhealthy paranoia makes you sick. Healthy paranoia gets you fired up to try to make a difference. And no excuses. You know, when you talk to people, I used to say that we all we all have that one friend in life where their whole life is one of excuses. And I always say to people, you're allowed to have one friend like that, but only one. You can't have multiple friends. And if you live your life around no excuses, you can get to solutions. And then to wrap things up, best is the standard. You can't help it. I always like to put a plug in for Dabo Sweeney. Dabo Sweeney, as some of you know, is the head football coach at Clemson University. And if you went inside the practice facility, the indoor facility, it's probably twice as high as, it's 3 times as high as this, and big walls on the 2 sides. There are letters on the wall that say, best is the standard. And all he means by that is, whatever your best is, that's what I'm asking you for. I'm not asking you to do this if you can't do that. But if you can do this, don't give me this. So from a standpoint of us challenging ourselves to be as good as we can be, that is our mantra at Commerce. It's on our strategic plan on the cover of it. The cover is not orange and purple. The cover is red, yellow, and black. And it says, best is the standard. So again, have a great weekend and continue to do super things. Thank you. Thanks, Bobby.
So in these morning sessions, we often make sure we've got plenty of black coffee to get your eyes open, get you awake and ready. We didn't need that. We brought you a full dose of Secretary Gill. And if you're not excited about economic development now, you'll never be. But I don't have to worry about that because everybody here is vested and invested in our local economic community. We've got business leaders, we've got citizens, interested citizens, we've got elected people that are working very hard for our counties and our state and towns to make our community grow and be prosperous. We've got government employees that are working diligently as well on that. I know we have a number of our elected officials here. It's an active time for many of them. I won't attempt to identify everybody because I'll certainly miss somebody if I do, but please keep your eyes open, introduce yourself to them, bend their ear, and keep this dialogue going.